What's going on, guys and gals? Today I have a video of the top cars to use in ranked online adventure. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So first things first, what I want you to do is go to your garage and favorite all the cars you're going to use in online adventure. I can't tell you how many times I've misclicked and just ruined my chances of doing anything with a car I didn't even have it tuned for. So do yourself a favor and favorite those cars. First car for B-Class Dirt is the Shelby Daytona. This car is an absolute monster on dirt, and that's why everyone uses it. If you don't have it, or you don't have the money to use it, there will be other cars you can buy in this list. But if you have it, or you have the money to spend on it, buy it and use my tune, or use someone else's tune. I'm not saying my tune's the best, but it is good. This car is fast and straight line and handles almost perfectly. So give it a shot, you won't regret it, and let's get on to the next car. The car I have next for you is the Ford Fiesta. I accidentally came across this car when I was just making a wheel spin video, but I found out it is very good in B-Class Dirt. The best part about this car is its handling is superb. It does great on tracks like Ambleside Scramble. It will leave the Shelby Daytona in the dust. Just like I said earlier, if you hit your lines correctly, this car will dominate on tight tracks like Ambleside. You can use my tune, which I popped up on the screen earlier. Give it a shot, it will be fun. This car is also pretty good at top speed, so even if you have a long straight, it will still somewhat keep up with the Shelby Daytona. The last car on the B-Class Dirt list is the Pontiac Trans AM 77. This car is amazing at top speed, straight line. And I do not recommend this car for beginners looking for a car. If you're a beginner, use the first two cars. This is more of a intermediate to expert car level, because on dirt it is fine, but on pavement you don't have any traction. So keep that in mind when you're using this car. It's not the most forgiving car, but it is fun to drive. And that ends it for B-Class Dirt. Let's get into the next class. Coming in top in A class, you guessed it, the Atomic Punk. Now this car you can only use if you have the car pass. And if you don't have the car pass, there is a couple of cars you can use. But if you have the car pass, download my tune, download someone else's tune, find something that is good for your driving style, and just dominate the leaderboards. I personally don't like this car because of how good it is. I feel it should be banned, but I have to race it just to stay in Grandmaster. I would love to use some of the other cars I've made for A class, but there's no reason to use those cars when you're going to lose to this car. Next car I have on my list is the Alfa Romeo TZ2. This car is a free-to-play car. If you have the game on Game Pass, you can use this car. You can download my tune. It's very nimble. It actually handles better than the Atomic Punk, but its top speed isn't there. I've beaten many people in the Atomic Punks with this car just because of driving correctly. So that is the key thing in these races, is it's not just about your car, it's about your driving skill. If you can't take a corner right, you're going to be losing too much speed, and even an Atomic Punk won't help you gain that time back. You have to be on your game 24/7. As Dominic Toretto once said, it's not how you stand next to your car, it's how you drive your car. Last car on this list is the Ford GT40. I used this car all the way up to rank 2 before switching to the Alfa Romeo. I love my tune, it's really good. But there is another tune called Meta Breaker that I started using, and I'd suggest you should try that one. It's a little heavy through the corners. It goes without saying, that's probably one of the better tunes on the market. Try that tune out. It's a little heavy through the corners, like I said. My tune is a little quicker through the corners. That's why I changed it. I like my cars to be nimble. Give mine a shot. Give that one a shot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Absolute banger of a car is the Ram Rebel TRX. This is also a Car Pass car. So if you have the Car Pass car, download my tune. It is freaking fast. It is the best truck to use on cross country. And if you want to beat the X-Class, the Colorados, you're going to want to use this car, or this truck. The reason why this truck is so good is because its acceleration beats everything in A-Class. It will launch up to the front of the pack before the first turn, because that's how good it is. And then it will keep that speed because it handles just so great. This is the atomic punk of cross country. I would say don't use cars in any cross country. They don't handle well, they're too low, and they'll scrape and bottom out almost everywhere. So stick to trucks in cross country and you'll be safe. The next truck on this list is actually two trucks, but I chose my favorite one to show you. The Chevrolet Colorado ZR2. The second truck that I was thinking about was the Mercedes-Benz X-Class. I'm showing this car just because I love it a little bit more than I like the X-Class. This car's top speed is better than the X-Class. Its handling is a little worse. And the X-Class, its handling is better, but its top speed is slower. So pick your poison, whichever one you want. I feel like the ZR2 is a better choice than the X-Class, but that's just my personal opinion. I'd say this truck is the second best option to the Ram Rebel. This is not a car I use, but my buddies use. It's the Warthog from Halo. And this car, buggy, truck, I don't know what to describe it as, this thing is only good, I would say, for team racing, online team adventure. Use this car if you're with your buddies and you guys will win. This car is specifically for bullying other cars, letting your teammates get in front of the other cars so they can't win. That's really all this car is about. And it's surprisingly nimble for how heavy it is. Like I said earlier, it's only for team adventure. If you're doing free-for-all, I do not suggest this. I suggest the Ram Rebel, the Colorado ZR2, or the Mercedes X-Class. This car is not going to win first place, but it will stop people from getting ahead of you. So let's hit the next class. My absolute favorite car to use in S-Class is the Lamborghini Huracan LP610-4. And I don't use the Performante because that car is actually slower than what you can make this car into. I have my tune linked. Check it out. It is amazing. It's not the best at acceleration, but it takes corners and keeps its speed better than any car that I've tried. And I love S1 just because there is no meta car. Everyone uses something different to their liking. So these cars are just my personal top cars. I love using these cars just because I've had so much success with them. So keep that in mind. S1 is a very competitive one, and I don't have like a clear best car. These are just my favorite cars to use. You can use a lot of other cars. Just see what fits your style. Look at my tune as a gauging point of what speeds and handling and acceleration should be, and you can make your own tune and see how that does online. I recommend everyone try at least to get used to building S1 cars, just because you never know what could be the best car in a new update. So keep that in mind, and let's check out my second choice. The Mercedes AMG CLK GTR I used to use so much. I love this car. It handles so good. It just lacks top speed. Where it makes up for is on circuits like this one. It can just take the corners and leave everyone in the dust. The main thing you want to do in S1 is basically your driving. Like I said earlier, there is no for sure best car in S1. So it comes down to who's the better driver, really. So hit your corners, hit your apexes right, and hit your brake line correctly. If you do that, you'll beat cars left and right with just a simple car that doesn't have top speed like this one. So with that in mind, let's look at my last pick, or S1. Of course, I had to mention the Ford GT05. This is a very popular car just because it's good in speed and it's good in handling. It's not best of each, but it is fair at both of them. It has good acceleration. I put it under the Huracan in the AMG GTR only because it is not as gripped. It's not as gripped as I'd like it to be. To get it to be viable in S1, you really got to sacrifice handling or speed. You already know it, the T100 Welcome Pack is just the most OP car for dirt and cross country. All you have to do is hammer the gas, and you don't even have to be a good driver, and you're going to come in first place. This car is just that good. I don't like using this car just like the Atomic Punk, but I have to, just to stay in Grandmaster. The best thing you can do is just not punt people, drive clean, give people less of a reason to not hate you when you're driving this car. Sorry, truck. This might surprise some people, but the Quadra Turbo R is actually very good in dirt class. And a little quick tip right here. I'm just going to tell you this. All the people that are watching the video, keep it a secret. If you put drip suspension on this car for off-road, it handles so much better. Keep it between us though. Alright, so this car is actually the second contender for top speed. You can keep up with a Welcome Pack Toyota if you hit your lines correctly. And you can actually beat those Toyotas if they're not good drivers. This car is a little stiffer, so just be aware of that. Don't try to overcorrect too much because you are going to end up in a wall or missing a checkpoint. So you have to be careful when you're driving this car at top speed. But once you get the hang of how this car moves and flows through the track, it's very predictable of how it's going to react. And that's the best thing for a dirt car, is to be predictable on how it handles. You know when it grips and you know when it slides. And it doesn't just grip randomly and throw you into a wall or into the lake that I'm driving next to right here. It is my favorite car to drive in S1 dirt. I just wish I could drive it more because I have to drive the Welcome Pack just so I don't lose. Just so I don't lose Grandmaster. Coming in as my last recommended car for S1 dirt is the Ford GT. Just like I said about the Quadra, this car is actually very reliable on its handling. You know when it's going to grip and when it's not going to grip. And that's why it's in the top 3. That and its acceleration is unmatched. When it's in the corners on dirt, it slides and then grips on the exit. Give this car a shot. I made a tune for it. You can probably find another tune or make your own. I suggest making your own, only because tuning your car and fine-tuning it, it takes a little while. And if you have the fine-tune available, you can tune your car to each track if you're in rivals. And that's what I do. So those are my top 3 picks of S1 Dirt. Give them a shot. Let me know how it goes. Please don't comment my tunes suck or anything because you got last place. I got Grandmaster with my tunes, so it's not my tunes' fault that you got last place. And let's just be real with each other. It's probably your driving. You're not hitting your brakes. You're not hitting the apex. You're just hammering the gas, hammering walls. You're probably punting people, which are punting you back. You know, like, racing online, there's a little bit of respect you have to have with the other players. And ramming them like they're AI is not cool. Just don't do that. You're just going to have a miserable time when they come back and ram you out of a checkpoint. So keep that in mind. Have a little bit of common courtesy to your other drivers that you're racing with, and you'll find out that racing online is a lot better than you think. So I have 2 cars that I recommend for S1 Winter, and it's the Ford GT comes in on top. This car is great, and that's because on my tune I use rally tires. So if you want to make a tune for S1 in the winter, like just a winter build, so you have a dedicated car, I suggest getting your favorite S1 car that you use, putting rally tires on it, bumping up the power, and if you can, dropping some weight. That would be your best option. Use a car that you're comfortable with and just make it a little bit faster and a little bit lighter with the rally tires. So with that being said, this is my top car to use in winter. It just handles it handles like it does on dirt. Just very reliable, very consistent, and pretty fast, honestly. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Now comes my personal favorite car, Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. This is my personal favorite just because I made it, and I made the vinyl decal, whatever you call it, and I made the tune. There's the tune right there. So if you want to use something that isn't the Ford GT but still looks good, use this car. Pretty light, and it handles very well. I love this car. This is my first pick, honestly, but in reality it's not the best car to use for S1 winter. I just know how to handle it, and I choose to use this car. If you're a beginner, use the Ford GT. If you're above beginner, you know, like novice or expert, like how the game describes it, try this car out. This car is very fun to use, and it just looks good while it drives, honestly. That's why I chose it. There's a couple other cars you can use. I didn't really want to go into them. They're not as good as those 2 cars. Guess what's here again for the top pick of S1 cross country? Yeah, I'm not very happy about this either. It's just, if you have the car, you have to use it for this class. It's just too overpowered. You'll win. Like I said, you don't even have to be a good driver. You're going to win. Just hit your checkpoints. They're going to hit you regardless. So give them less reason to hate you by not ramming them. Or if that's just your style and you want to be a complete jerk online, ram as many people as you want, get some hate mail. I'm over talking about this truck, so let's get to the next one already. The Jeep Trailcat is near and dear to my heart because I used it before the welcome pack came out. This car is very fun to use. It is a little off-balanced, I guess I can say. It's very easy to tip over, and you just got to know the map, because especially on this track right here, even though it's not online, I've never seen this track online. If you don't hit this corner right here properly, you're just going to go flying into the air, doing somersaults, and you're going to be yelling at your screen. I do it from time to time, but that's just racing for you, really. Cross country is just a pain. Even dirt is a pain because of the stupid free roam races. I wish Forza would just get rid of those and either make them their own category so I can skip them entirely, or just completely get rid of them from the game. That would be my only thing. That's the only thing I don't like about this game, is the free roam rushes. But you gotta deal with what you got, so.
Some bitch! That's for Power Ranger!
I love this car, honestly. It's just super fast. It's like the, what was it? Oh yeah, the Firebird, the Trans Am from 77 in A-Class. This car is just a rocket in the straight lines, and it really doesn't do well in the corners, but it's just really fun to drive. If you love just passing people at ridiculous speeds on straights, then this is the car. I think on top speed-wise, it comes close, if not better than the Toyota. So give it a shot. The first car I have for S2 Road and Street is the McLaren 720 Pre-Order Edition. Now, if you don't have this car, I'm sorry. You probably will have to wait a long time till you get it again, or have the option to. But if you have it, download my tune, try it for S2. It's my personal favorite car because its top speed is ridiculous. Its handling is fair. The other two cars I have in this list are better at handling, but their top speed is nowhere near this car. This car all around is better than those two cars, in my opinion. If you're a beginner or just not good at, hitting the corners right, I'd say use the other two cars on the list, because this car you really have to take your turns correctly. Coming in at everyone's favorite car to use in S2 is the Koenigsegg CCGT. And everyone loves to use this car in the S2 class because it's just a monster when it comes to turning and downforce. This car is the best car for handling, period, in the whole game. It's that good. I recommend this car to everyone, beginners, novice, experts, just because of it's a no-risk car. It has downforce, it has speed. The game doesn't even know how much downforce it has because there's certain corners that you can take when it says you should brake. There's really no reason not to run this car. I have my own personal reasons why I use the 720 over this car, but even I use this car on certain tracks. My last pick for S2 Road and Street is the Nissan GTR LM Edition. This car, if you don't have the CCGT or you don't have the money to buy a CCGT, go to the auction house, buy this car. It's the best choice for handling. I've used this car countless times and got to Grandmaster before I even had the GT. So it is a good car. Download my tune, try it out, and remember to always have fun, don't get stressed out, because when you stress out is when you start making mistakes. There's one more class I have to show you guys, and let's get right into it. First pick for S2 Winter is the Lamborghini Diablo GTR. If you don't have this car, it's super cheap in the auction house. Forza gave them away like candy a few months back. I got 4 of them one month. Out of nowhere, I just opened my menu, it said GTR, popped in your garage, GTR, GTR, GTR. I was just like, whoa, why do I get so many of these cars? And I was really disappointed because of, I didn't like using this car for anything. So I was just like, that's four cars I'm never going to use. Until we went against this thing in an online session and saw just how good it was. So I quickly made a tune. Oh wait. So I quickly downloaded the tune, and here's the share code for that one. I'm not going to mess with it. This tune is the best tune. Just use this tune. This car's biggest strength is it just grips even through snow. You don't have to worry about it slipping out. I haven't had an issue. I've never had an issue of it slipping out on me. I'm taking corners harder than I thought, and through the corner was just thinking, I'm going to slip, I'm going to slip, I'm going to slip. But no, the car just keeps on going, keeps on pointing straight, and that's why this car is my top pick for winter S2. The last and final car on this list and in this video is the Koenigsegg Jesko. And I know what you're thinking. Why would you use this car? Its gear ratio is trash. It's hard to get past the first 3 gears, right? Well, not in my tune. I made a tune that is very reliable on acceleration and even grip in snow. It's definitely not the GTR when it comes to grip in snow, but if you want to go flying through the snow, passing everybody on the straights, and worry about the turns a little bit more than the GTR, this is the car for you. This is my favorite car to use, and I actually use this car over the GTR just because I like using different cars than what is meta. But that's just me. I feel confident driving this car, and I feel confident that I can drive it better than most people driving the GTRs or the Lamborghini GTRs. So with that in mind, just remember that it's not the car that will give you the win, it's you. Your driving skill is what's causing you to win or lose. These are just cars that I've had the most success with, and I'm sharing that with you guys. So if you want to give them a shot, I've had all my share codes on the screen. And on that note, guys, be good to one another. I'll catch you later.